Okay, give me just a moment here, getting the soda pop. Let's make sure we got that muted. Pop out chat. There we go. And bing. Okay, one other thing I've got to do. Pop open this and right light. There we go. Alrighty, so right now it's just me watching, and move this over here since I'm not doing painting. Okay. And hello, Taylor. Welcome. Like the title that I gave it for the for the my brain goes for the this old man. Yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait just a few minutes, trying to get some more people in here. And, okay, if I remember, basically what you want is a kind of a hunched over man in robes with a gnarled staff or stick or cane. He's gonna that's gonna turn out to be either like this incredibly powerful warlock or a monk, which would be funnier. Especially if his name turns out to be something akin to Chong Wang. You know, John Wang. AKA the Jackie Chan and what's his name movie? Okay. By the way, some of you have not seen most of you have seen the paint job I gave Roland. Well, to counter the blue and silver, the Saracen giant Farragut is red and bronze. Okay. So, that's not a king. I also got Dire Cape Buffalo. Moo. It's got a little wart under its eye on that side and on its lower cheek on the side. Yeah, moo. I still have tables and benches to paint, Saracen troops, and a couple of casualties. Alright. Okay. Now, the way this is going to work, the staff will start out, before I sculpt, as just a cylinder with a couple knobs on the ends. We'll turn the knobs into like little grippy bits, if need be. So you want it kind of just ever so slightly curved, because when you start getting too curved with a quarterstaff, you stop being able to do things like slide down for a thrust. Spins become more difficult because you've got to reach out here and pull back this way, and yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm also kind of working on Cormoran, Cornish giant. with liver spots on his back. Hello, William. Alright, so what's going to happen is we're going to start with creating the base pose and all of that. Okay? And we start that. There we go. That was a horrible snap. But we go up here and we load in the base male figure. Again, this is original geometry. This is not a DAZ figure. It's something I created for this. Now, he's going to have on, you're going to have, as you said, a quarterstaff. So let's zoom down this huge list of stuff I've got. Quarterstaff. Which hand do you want it in? The right hand or the left hand? So he'll be like pointing with his right. Okay. So what we do is we simply double click it. Oh, and look, the hand is closed around the quarterstaff. Although I need to kind of move it up a little this way and over just a little that way. Oh, there. So there we go. He's got his quarterstaff. Now, we can make it longer, and we can make it, change its position in the hand, as you can see. Bam, 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 bam. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to first put all the clothing that we're going to need on him. Now, he's wearing a hooded robe, you said? Is that correct? He's wearing a hooded robe? Okay. Simple clothing. Okay. So no grandiose cloak flapping in the breeze. Correct? No armor. Just, let's make it a tunic. Let's make it a tunic, and the way we do this is, instead of having an actual tunic on him, we just put the bottom portion of one on. Because the belt and the upper torso and the sleeves and that will be done later. We do need to come in here a little bit smoother. Okay. Now, we're going to hide the quarterstaff and the tunic skirt. Do I have... Let's load in the long hair from the female. And we're going to parameters. We're going to... What happens if we fit long hair to female? Yeah, no, that doesn't fit. That's hip, abdomen, chest, neck, head, and we translate it up. Whoa. That's a bit too much. Let's see. And then Z translate it 0.2. A little bit more than that. Well, 0.5. No, because that looks too girly. Doesn't look, it's too feminine. We'll add on the long old man hair when we go to sculpting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the lower, we're going to use a lower body pose here. And then we're going to kind of rotate this leg a little. Grab here, and we're going to lock the side to side for the knees. We're going to lock the side to side for the elbows, because elbows and knees don't move side to side. If you hold your, somehow keep your upper arm from twisting, you can do this, you can do this, you can't go side to side without breaking your elbow. Same thing goes with your knees. You might have like 1 or 2 degrees of freedom there, but it's not comfortable. Oh, hold on just a second. I forgot something. Okay, what's going to happen is I forgot to double check. Where is it? Oh yeah, okay. Do you want one of these bases? This set, the top left and bottom right are mostly science fiction. But then you've got, up here you've got, up here you've got cobblestones and like fancy tiling. Down there you've got rocks, planks, and grass. And then, again, more sci-fi. Okay. Now, like I was saying, there's also, down here you've got a moonscape and kind of a swampy area. You got magic circle, you've got cracked earth, gravel, and organic, and up top you've got ancient tile. Cobblestone. Okay. And that pops us back here. We're going to load in the base and hide it. Import Sculpt minis. Bases. And we want base cobblestone. Over down to there. And then we're going to hide it and move it and twist it until it's in the right position. Alright, now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go to these and we're going to pin the feet. What this is for is we can now use what's called inverse kinesmatics on the hips. As we drop the hips down, the feet move. Now the reason we're doing this is because really and truly what we need to do is we need to have the feet a little bit wider apart than this. And a front view. A little bit, no. This, a little bit higher. Okay, and move over to this foot. This foot definitely goes higher. And then bends down a little bit more. Ah! I hate it when it does that. There we go. Now we're going to also come here. We're going to rock the hips a bit more. so that we can have our torso kind of leaning like we want it to. Okay, and then we're going to twist the chest a bit more. Now we're going to twist here. And then side to side the hand. Make the quarterstaff visible. Twist a bit like that. Front view. We're going to the front view so we can see the quarterstaff. And we're going to make sure we get only the quarterstaff chosen and lower it down. Okay, we need to twist the hand just a little bit. There. And actually we can go ahead and undo a lot of that side to side. Go back to the front view and slide it down a bit more. Okay. No, because he's still... Alright, let's lock the hand now. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab this. We're going to grab this, yeah. We're going to kind of drag it forward and okay, let's go ahead and yeah. No. Bah, that was bad. There we go. And we're going to raise it up. No. Okay, let's turn, it's unpin selected. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, let's straighten up the hand and redo the hand. Because that happens sometimes. Let's untwist this forearm. No, let's twist the hand a little bit more that way. Okay, now that we've done that, we can come back over here and bring this foot down. And then go back to perspective. And let's drag this. Okay. Now this neck, we're gonna twist it and bend it forward a little, and bend back the head. Now he's kind of pointing with this hand, right? He's like, see what you did there. Actually, yeah, it's something, come to think of it, we need to have the staff be, whoop. There we go, that's better for the... There we go. Perspective view. Actually, we need to twist that in because that's just too much. And go back to front view and rearrange the location. That should be good. Yeah. Back to perspective. Okay. Okay, now it's going to start off looking like he's got all four fingers curled because this figure only has one, it has a mitten hand that's cheated to look like fingers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, oh, let me make sure I got all. Okay. There we go. No, we need a little bit more. There we go. And there we have our basic pose. How does that look? Actually, we do need to kind of Bring it over a little like this. There we go. I do think it'd be funnier to turn out to be a monk than a warlock or wizard. Now we need the facial expression. So we're going to open the mouth a bit more so he's yelling. This brow will be arced and down. This brow will also be arced, but up. Okay. And then I'm going to be bending these two fingers out when we get it into ZBrush. Is there anything you would like to tweak about the pose? Past the 90-degree mark the other way. Like that? Or do you mean angled like that instead of like that? What we can do is we can put like that, and then like that. No, because then it looks like he's not leaning on the staff. He's pushing off with it. Or if it's like this, he's like a bit more wobbly, a bit less sure. Let me go ahead and take that hand and about there. Let's bring it. Yeah. Let's. All right. That should be good. We take the base, make it visible from the top view. Then make sure we have it so that he's kind of centered on the base. Okay, and then a front view, so we can tweak the height of the base. And then we're just going to Y-rotate it, just kind of random positioning of the okay, we need to bring this Y translate from negative 3.3 to negative a little bit higher, because we want to make sure that it's overlapping into the geometry of the cobblestones and not just barely touching them. because that helps make it fuse solid with the base. So how's that? Well, like I mentioned in my actual recording, I did a video about posing. And there's really only 2 rules for poses. Actually, I see one thing I need to do. No, that's good. Those 2 rules are, number 1, if you're off balance, you look like you're in motion. Number 2, never have the hips and shoulders parallel to each other or the floor. Once you do those 2, it becomes a matter of taste, whether you like a given pose or not. So we're going to hide the base, the tunic, and the quarterstaff. When I export from Daz Studio, it exports everything currently visible. So, do we have a name for this old man besides this old man? I'll just call it this old man then. The body saves first. We hide the body, make the quarterstaff visible. File, export this old staff. I guess he lives in this old house. Oh, I forgot to do one thing on this. I can go ahead and take care of it now. And that's, I need to check the left thigh twist. Negative 11.6, so the left thigh on the skirt is a positive 11.06. This helps get rid of some of the distortion in the skirt. It's not needed, but it helps. Negative 27.29 becomes positive 27.29. See, it has a better shape now to that tunic. File, export this old tunic, accept, and then we hide it, make the base visible. File, export this old base, accept, and then we pop over to ZBrush. Now that we're here, we import, Patreon minis, new, this old man, body first. We then draw it into the scene, and we hit edit, so we can actually look around. Then we're going to append a new one, a subtool, and this is going to be the tunic. Then we're going to append a subtool, and this is going to be the staff. And then append a subtool, this is going to be the base. Okay, now, next thing that we do, we're going to go ahead and hide all of these. And with a much weaker level of smoothing, we're going to smooth out the chest and shoulders because they will be covered by the old man's tunic. We're also going to smooth out the bottom of the neck, the abs, and we're going to smooth out down this way because old man won't have huge lats. And down here, Okay. Now, next thing we're doing is we're going to fill in the inner mouth. We're going to need to shrink the mouth for that. And increase the smoothing intensity back to 100. There we go. Frame out. And now we're going to subdivide it a few times until, see, 1.46 million is good. We'll make the tunic visible. We're going to use the move tool. And we're also going to turn on this button right here. What that does is from now on, anytime I change to a tool I've used before, it'll be the same size. Well, not tool, but a brush. Kind of pulling this in so it fits closer to the skin. Okay. Now we're going to subdivide this. That's good enough. And we're going to merge down. And now we do something called Dynamesh. Dynamesh converts the figure, his eyes, and this tunic into a single manifold surface, the resolution of which is dependent on this. Okay. And then we're gonna, excuse me, we're gonna smooth out where his waist meets the tunic bottom, both front and back. And I'm gonna smooth this out a lot by just going over the smooth brush and tapping one several times. Okay. Now, the next thing we got to do is make the belt, the neck, and the sleeve ends of the tunic. Okay, so do you want a short sleeve or long sleeve tunic? Do you want a square tunic neck or a round or a V-neck? And while you're deciding on that, I'm going to smooth that a little. And then I'm going to draw on where the belt will be. Stroke open. Okay, that's so that we have a nice actually no, we forgot to do one thing. Give it another layer of subdivision. So that get a smoother. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to use what's called extract What this does is it duplicates the surface and then gives it a positive and negative thickness equal to where it says thickness. And then we unmask it. Go down to geometry, Dynamesh of 256. Okay. Then we're going to subdivide a little. And we're going to shrink the mouse so it fits inside there. We're going to make that 12 pixels. And just kind of flatten it out a little. Okay. Now, what kind of belt buckle? Just a round disc? Do you want a buckle like a modern day where it's got the bar and that? Or do you want like a gemstone? We'll get back to the short sleeves and the V-neck in just a second. Actually, while we're waiting on that, we know he's got wants a V-neck. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to draw on the neckline of the tunic. And it would come from about here. Don't do this to me. Okay. I know what he's doing. Task manager. No, it's not doing it. Okay. Turn off lazy mouse. Kind of round this corner off here. Okay, and then we're going to down quite a bit so we can out quite a bit so we can blend it in. And bring it around. Okay. Now we're going to extract this. Accept, draw to unmask, go back up to the body, draw to unmask. And now we're going to Dynamesh this at 128. Well, the disc is a lot simpler, but it also, well, looks simpler. The buckle, it's just like a modern buckle. You bring the leather up under, and you got a little peg poking out through a hole. Okay. Okay. Right now just kind of bringing this in. Yeah, basically, the big difference between using a metal disc as your buckle and an actual belt buckle, the disc looks simpler. The disc is simpler, but it looks simpler. You know? It doesn't look as detailed. It looks like I just grabbed a dab of putty to smooth on there. Okay. Now we're going to subdivide it a couple times. Delete lower. And we're going to merge down. No, it doesn't have his Dynamesh on. Okay, so turn the Dynamesh on again. And we're going to smooth out this area. Okay. Alright, now you said short sleeve. Okay, disc. We're going to start off the short sleeve by also drawing on the end of the sleeve. Okay. And we're going to come back up to the subtool and extract it. I've got to apologize right now. I am feeling a little bit loopy simply because I had some issues early this morning. Okay, now we go back down to geometry. We subdivide, oh no, we Dynamesh these bits here. And then we start smoothing out. Oh, that's way too fast. Smoothing out the bottom where it meets the arm. As my little fuzz butt goes off to go get breakfast. Or one of the fuzz butts. Okay. Frame. You can see where the short sleeves will end. And now we're going to subdivide it a few times. Merge down. And now we smooth out where it meets the arm. Okay. Okay, you said you wanted a disc buckle, so what we do for that is we got this. Go to the belt, place it near the center. Draw it in. Go to move topological, and we're going to kind of increase the size a lot. And we're going to move it a little bit out. Okay, here's our guy so far. Ah! Caffeine, yay! Now boots. Do you want cuffed boots, calf high boots, or leg wraps on the upper leg? All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. This is going to come out slightly different than what we were seeing with the regular. All right. I'm going to shrink this mouse. Okay, and we're going to come down here. No. Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay, now I'm down here. I'm gonna unselect that. Now here, and we're going to extract a 0.001. Accept. Doesn't look like much, but it is. Alright, now the next thing is we need to hide everything but these. We then go down to polygroups and we click on auto group. What this does is before you had a different group for the outer and the inner and a different group for the rim. After, one group for each side. Now we're going to hide this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to select slice curve. We've got to hold on Control Shift to activate this. We're going to draw a couple large pieces. We're going to bring them a little bit down. We're going to turn again. Select only that, and we're going to give it there. We're going to select only that, and we're going to give it there. And that's the one leg slashes. Okay, that's where our wrap straps are going to be. A little erratic, but then again, so are bandages wrapped around. And just to see what we're doing. Okay, now we go back down to geometry. We go to where it's called edge loop. And we're going to bring that thickness up to 0.02. And we're going to drop the bevel to about 75. Okay, zoom out. We're going to then, under deformation, give it one level of polish. Okay, there we go. That kind of cleaned things up around it. And we go back to geometry, and we're going to Dynamesh 512. Nope, too rough. We're going to Dynamesh 1024. Okay, much better. Okay, so for right now, this is our old man. I assume you want baggy pants. But before we do those baggy pants, we're going to go ahead and do something with the head. Whoa. Alright, so what we're going to do first, we're going to use inflate. He's much smaller size than this and a little bit lower intensity. And we're going to start inflating the eyes, the eyebrows, to kind of emphasize his anger. I'm going to kind of bring up under the cheekbone. This guy is going to be kind of vaguely elven. And now we're going to go to slash. Turn off lazy mouse. Lower the intensity quite a bit. Increase the size just a little bit. And we're going to start off by digging that deeper. Oh, no, too big. Let's zoom out. Okay. Now, okay. Now we're going to move the fingers. And I just realized I should have done them before I did all this. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use what's called a trim brush. Oh, bullshit. To remove that hand. Okay. I'm now going to insert another copy of the body. I'm then going to kind of remove here. Polygroups, autogroups, and then go up to geometry and not zero measure, modify topology, delete hidden. So I have a separate group for nothing but the hand. Now, I'm going to grab the fingers and kind of drag them out. Whoop. It's going to look really, really bad for a minute, but it improves. Trust me. and then inflate them. Now we're going to subdivide it until it's nice and smooth. And we're going to check to see if we've... Do you mind, little buddy? There you go. Had a feline interruption. Now, do we have this set as yeah, we do have Dynamesh on. Okay, so we're going to merge down and then draw. And we now have, we can go ahead and continue a little bit more, merging, moving up the fingers to kind of point them a bit more forward. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just kind of tweaking it now. Okay, right now we don't have any wrinkles on. Nothing like that. Is there anything else? Alright, we're going to assume that the legs are going to be baggy, like they're wearing he's wearing loose pants. Is there anything else you can think of before we start adding clothing wrinkles? Also, does he have hair? Does he have facial hair? No facial hair. So he's just got this little grumpy expression. Any head hair, like the Picard ruff, where it just kind of starts over the ear and just doesn't go above here in the back? Maybe even a little bit of comb over. Okay, well, let me go ahead and hide these. We're going to start, actually no, we need to leave the belt on and the leg wrap so we can see where we need to place these wrinkles. Okay, the leg wraps, we're going to start with what's called a clay buildup brush, but we're going to be using a round alpha. Alpha is an image that's used to basically mask off where the brush works. Where white, the brush works 100%. Black, the brush doesn't work at all. In this case, it's a kind of a round, fuzzy, blurry section, and what that lets us do, let's just kind of sit here and draw areas where it kind of bags out. Just kind of build up some space. Okay. That's just enough to make them look like pants and not bare leggings or tights or bare legs. It also gives us a rough guide on where we're going to be putting our wrinkles. Okay, so that's our build up. We need to unbuild up some of this and build it down here. Okay. Then we're going to move up here. And we're going to kind of just get our basic shape in. Which is going to be wrinkles coming in a kind of a radial pattern from under the waist and under the arm. We're going to start off with the waist. Then we're going to go ahead and kind of blend these together, make them a little bit larger in some areas, and bulging out over top of the belt. This one won't bulge out as much as the rest. Alright, then we're going to shrink the mouse and start drawing in the wrinkles from the fact that it's kind of bent here. Alright, so one thing about ZBrush is that as you use it, it redefines where the center of rotation for the figure is. Okay, so then we're going to come up that way, that way. Okay, and then start up with, well, let's make it bigger. Okay, and then we're going to kind of come down like this. Right now, it's a very soft, loose fabric that doesn't look like something that a peasant would own. It also won't paint well. So we go to slash. We're going to make that sub 14, or 13 will do. I'm going to make it, okay. We're going to start off on the legs. The thing to remember when doing wrinkles, well, there's a couple things to remember. One of the biggest ones is this is being sculpted to be printed and to be painted. So for the painters out there, we're kind of leaving in two ways for the miniature to get painted well. The first is with washes, and the second is with dry brushing. Okay. Now I'm just gonna by holding down the left Alt key, I'm able to do a negative of this, which actually acts as a external slash. So the legs are baggier, and now comes the okay, not too much longer. Move over. We're gonna draw in the wrinkle lines again. And okay, and just to add things simply, draw the sharp edge on the bottom of these wrinkles. Okay. Now, I'm going to break this down. And just a little bit here. And we're going to smooth it out up here. Because it's sitting on top of the shoulder, it shouldn't be that much of a dramatic. Okay. Right now, this is the state of Old Man Get Off My Lawn. What do you think of it so far? I'll do the Picard hair in just a minute. To be honest, what we have left to do is really the hair and then detailing the hands. Okay. Let me get some soda. So we're going to select the head and zoom in on it. Deselect everything. We're going to hide everything except for the body. And we're going to make sure that we have this given a level of subdivision, because we need it to do a pretty decent masking for the hair. And what we're going to do is we're just going to mask off right over the ear and down to there, and it's going to come back around like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and connect the parts. Oh, I better hide the arm and upper arm so I can see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, let's hide that. Alright, so we come from here. And yeah, that'll do. That's about right. And we're going to make it visible. And then under sorry, not inventory, under subtool, we're going to extract it at 0.02. Accept, draw, draw. This is what will become our hair. But first we've got to go to geometry. We're going to dynamesh it at 64. Subdivide it a bit. Then we're going to use move. Kind of grab this end and pull it in tight against the head. We're going to kind of move this out, move it down, move it up a little. Yeah, I call it a Picard rough for the same, similar to how in the fandom the act of straightening your shirt is often called a Picard maneuver. Okay, then I'm going to shrink the mouse and smooth out the top of this. And we go to slash. And we're going to start off by just kind of drawing in. Actually, no. We need to subdivide it because we need our detailing. Okay, I'm just going to draw in a few bits and pieces here. And then come down here. Yeah, see, my brother has the Picard rough. He's a year older than me. And as you can tell, I'm not exactly a spring chicken. And then just a little bit of in there. Add 9 or 8, that'll do. And once again, we're going to make it a little bit sharp. And we're going to kind of pull it here and here. Zoom out. And there he is with this Picard rough. All that's left is detailing the face. Detailing the hands. I'm going to go ahead and turn everything on until then, so we can get a decent glimpse on how he will look when printed. That's about the size he'll be. All of the details become visible at that size, or stay visible, so we're not going to have to worry. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to detail the hands. Start with inflate, and we're going to drop this down until it's about the size of the fingers. Yeah, that's good. Go in under here and inflate in here. Kind of fuse that thumb. Okay, then we're going to draw on our knuckles, and unlike usual, we're not going to have a large amount of smoothing between the knuckles because this is an old man. Old man got knuckles like young man got testosterone. Then we're going to draw very lightly. Again, this may not print, but it forms and helps keep its shape. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Smooth that out. Oh, also, just smooth that out. Okay, then we're going to add on our knuckles. Frame. Okay, now we're going to add on the old base, and this is our yellowing old man. Does that look good to you? I can't think of anything, and you can't see it. Nothing more you want to add? Nothing on the wrists? Okay, so Gomel, Gomel the kind, Goml. I was just spelling it there, Goml, or is it Gomi? Gomi, Gomel, Gomel. Oh God, you shouldn't have. I just had an idea for a fire, for a pyro, pyro. For a sorcerer who's a bit of a pyro, named Gomel Pyre, as opposed to Gomer Pyle. Oh, Gomel, get off my lawn. Okay. Alright, well, what I do now... I can put a tin cup on the base. And the way we'll do that, I'm going to have to open up 3D Studio Max. It'll take a second, so I'm going to sit here and chat. Now, oh. This little fuzzbutt here is 13 years old, or 12 and a half. Soon to be 13. And you. Yeah. Yep. Now I'll say, it'll be a bit large to be a tin cup. And because it's going to have to be to print properly. Are you going to be printing in resin or FDN? Excuse me, hiccups. Excellent. By the way, since I'm teaching a class on painting with my gaming group, I printed out a couple of these archers I did many moons ago as practice pieces for them. As in, they'll have their figure, you know, and just as an example, this is one of their figures, although this particular print, her right ear broke off. So she's got a new version, the player does. Anyway, loading 3D Studio Max, it's about to come in, so let's go ahead and pop on over to here. And here we got what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the base and the body, just so I have a guidelines of where everything is. Oh, and the staff. I gotta import the staff so I can see where it all hits. Okay, now it's gonna be sitting right here, kind of in the middle of the tripod of left foot, right foot staff. Also, all of this, let's go ahead and freeze them all. It's all dark gray. You can barely see it. You know, you can see it. You can see it moving, but it's hard to find otherwise. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna do a quick. Okay. This will be kind of easy. Alright, what we're going to start with is a cylinder. put it right here. Okay, it's going to be this tall, and we need to increase the radius a bit just to make it easier to print. We can make it a little bit shorter. And we need to increase those cap segments to 2, reduce the height segments to 1, and the sides to 12. And now we grab it and we're going to lift it up just a little bit to about there. Okay. Edible poly. Select the top part and make it a little bit wider. We're going to extrude in a negative direction. To about there. Okay. Then we're going to ring and select these, connect 2 segments, make them about there, and raise it up. That's good. Now, grab here, ring, convert to that. Extrude local normal. Local normal. We're going to extrude out to about there. I'm going to shrink it down. Yeah. And we're going to select here and here, and here, and here. Loop. Chamfer 0.001 2. Then we're going to mesh smooth it. And then we got to add on the handle. And once we get the handle added on, that'll be the tin cup. It's a very simple tin cup. We're going to kind of put it over, almost facing forward. We're going to rotate it after we make it. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to use a tube. We're going to add on there. Height of 1. Sides of 16. And edible poly. Now, this on the X is negative 2.578. So this needs to be back center negative 2.578. That'll center it on the cup. We're then going to grab these facets and pull them inside the cup. Make sure that we can't see any of the red here. Okay, we cannot. Then we're going to delete it. We're going to select these 2 and we're going to bridge. Then these 2 and we're going to bridge. We're then going to select all of those edges and loop and chamfer 0.001. And we're going to mesh smooth once, twice. We're then going to select that and attach our handle. And here is actually what we need to do. I know what we need to do. Make it a little bit smaller. Lift it up to the top. There we go. And now we're just going to kind of rotate it, kind of just to let's hide everything that's unselected. And we're just going to Let's put it there. Then just simply File, Export Selected. Choose the OBJ format because that's what the ZBrush reads. 3D Printing Home, Meshes, Pre-Sculpt Minis, Patreon Minis, New, This Old Man, Tin Cup. Export. Done. We then cut right back over here, and we're going to insert another polymesh. This polymesh will be, of course, the tin cup. And we're going to... Oh. Okay, good. Then we're going to subdivide and until it looks smooth. And here we have old man with a tin cup and a staff. Liking it? Okay. So the next thing that we do, when I see that you give your final approval and your thumbs up, I'll merge it all down into one object, make it a solid piece, and then reduce the polygon count till it's a reasonable amount. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Here's how the tin cup turned out. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, it's going to be very, very subtle. But with a photon, you can kind of pull it off. I'm going to add on little wrist bones on this old man, just to kind of emphasize that he's bony and gangly. We're also going to add in ankle bones. There we go. Just to make sure we get all the bony bit. Oh, and elbow. And elbow. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and merge down repeatedly until we only have one subtool left. We're going to zoom out a bit, and then we're going to use geometry, and we're going to, since it's already got the Dynamesh selected, I hold down Control and draw a square. And it goes through and re-Dynameshes, which suddenly drops us to 1.26 million. We're going to undo Dynamesh, go up to Z plugin, bring it open over here, Decimation Master. We're going to make it, it doesn't have a lot of super high frequency detail like chainmail or scales, so we're going to make it 35K. 35,000 points becomes 70,000 triangles. The thing is, at 70,000 triangles, most of the detail of a single polygon will be maybe 1 or 2 voxels, maybe less. So it's going to have a smooth look and a smooth effect. As long as you don't print it at, like, you know, 10 times this scale. Okay, and there we go. 71,537 triangles for our old beggar with a tin cup and staff. Also known as the murder hobo's arch enemy. And there we go. This should print half decent even at double to triple scale. It won't stand up at triple scale to things designed for triple scale because some of the details like the face will be a little bit smoother. This is designed to be paintable and printable at, well, actually 30 millimeter scale. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to export this as Gomel Old Man. Although I think I just typed that as Gonel. I'm going back here. And come on, little buddy. Come on, baby girl. No. Come on. Crazy kid. So, that is Gomel. Well, the thing to remember, if you go in and look at you can see the biggest difference that you will find in the 3D printable figures. MZ4750 or MZ4250. Miguel Zavela. These figures, very low polygon. They, lots of angles and flat planes. Oh, excuse me. But he still, he captured the feel of the critter. His recent stuff is much higher polygon count. It's still, simple, basic, but that man churns them out so daggone fast. I mean, if I had the opportunity to just sit here for hours doing nothing but sculpting miniatures, I could probably put out 3 or 4 a day before I get exhausted. That man, good God, I've lost count of how often he puts out figures. So, we have Gomel the Elderly. What's going to happen, I want you to DM me your email address. And I will send you the files and a render. I'll send it to you in OBJ and STL format. If you're using the Photon, have you switched to G2 Box instead of the default Photon slicer? Okay, G2 Box, you can use OBJ too. There's one thing that really makes G2 Box better, and that's when you put on when you set up the supports. If I had a support of a character with his hand like this, support from the finger in Photon Slicer would lay straight against or even partially through this forearm. Whereas in G2 Box, it poke out and then go down and avoid laying against the arm. And that's the one thing. It still happens, but so much less often. Oh, so much less often. Anyway, DM me your email address, and I'll send those files to you before the start of next show. Alrighty. Now what's going to happen next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refresh my page here. And once I did that to keep it from having delay. Okay. And I'm then going to hold up my hand. And I'm going to, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when I get to 1, I'm going to say something goofy and sign out. So, ready? That's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The temperature here went from 70 to 40 like it saw a state trooper.